Let's talk about real estate owned documentation. So, in other words, REO, real estate owned documentation when getting a mortgage. So, what does that mean? So, if when you get a mortgage, we all expect and believe that you're going to get a credit report, there's income documentation, assets, bank statements, all that stuff. But when you actually own a home, an existing piece of real estate, there's going to be additional documentation, most likely, that's going to be required. So, some loans, again, some loans require different paperwork. So, it's not necessarily an absolute, but I'd say the majority of the time, if you do own another home, depends on the loan you're doing, you're going to need to provide some documentation. So, let's talk about the real estate owned documentation. So, if you own a current home, and let's say we're refinancing that home, you're going to need some, paperwork regarding just like your homeowner's insurance. That's not a surprise. Your survey, if you're refinancing that home, they're going to see the survey, and then ultimately, maybe your mortgage statement, because that helps us get the payoff if needed. So it may need an existing mortgage statement. That's really it. Now, if you own other real estate besides the home that we're doing the loan on, let's say you own a lake house or rental property, whatever it is, essentially we'll need the mortgage statement, and depending if taxes and insurance are part of the mortgage payment, that may be all we need. The lender might ask for your insurance information, like the contact information to make sure something's current, up to date, etc. But really, it's a mortgage statement. If it's a rental property and we're trying to use that rental income, they might ask for the lease agreement from it. They may ask for the tax returns to show what that rental income looks like if that's something you're trying to use to qualify. And if it's going to be a property that like a piece of dirt, like land, and let's say it's free and clear, they're just going to want to maybe see something like the deed or something like that to show that it is in fact free and clear and there's no lien against it. So that's kind of what you need if you're doing if you're buying a home and you own, like I said, your current home, same thing. It's going to be your insurance. You wouldn't need, the only time you need the survey is going to be when you're doing the loan for that property. So all the other stuff I just mentioned, you should not need a survey at any point unless it's the subject property, the one you're doing the loan for. Beyond that, like I said, that should be kind of everything you need. If you got a whole bunch of rental properties, my recommendation is make sure you also have a worksheet, like a spreadsheet that says the address, the amount owed on the mortgage, who the mortgage provider is or servicer is. Um, you know, just help us out with as much information you can give. Because if you got 14 rental properties, first of all, I might recommend a different program where you don't need all that documentation, like a DSCR loan or something like that. You may not need all that, but that's neither here nor there. So if you have any questions, absolutely reach out to us. Let us know. The Mortgage Mark team is here to help. And when you think mortgage, think Mark.